Hi again, class. Let me continue where we left off in our last session. Today, we'll discuss the last two items for sensitivity analysis. And as I've mentioned last time, we will have addition of a new variable into the LP model and also the addition of a new constraint into the LP model. Again, these changes are only done one at a time. So in other words, the sensitivity analysis that we're doing is only good for changes made one at a time. If simultaneous changes are made, then we would have to use the software uh, to see the effects of those changes in our optimal solution. Again, we're discussing all of this so that you will know and you will understand the concepts behind uh, each solution change. What changes do we need to introduce before we are actually able to effect changes in the optimal solution? Okay, so as usual, we will go back to our uh, problem, the LP model that we formulated 2 sessions ago. And it is shown on the right side of your screen. So you have a maximization problem with 3 decision variables, each representing the number of units of product type 1, 2, and 3 to produce. And then you have 3 resources, department A, B, and C, or departments 1, 2, and 3. So you have a total of 6 variables, 3 decision variables, and 3 slack variables. And then the optimal iteration using revised simplex method is also shown as follows. No? So what we will do is to discuss the procedure for addition of a new variable through this example. Okay, so let's assume that instead of just having 3 products, no, that the company decided to add another product line. And on the left side of your screen, you will see that they're deciding whether or not to add product D into their line of products. So, of course, before you add a new product, you would have to do a market study to see if there is demand for this product. You have to see how much it would cost you to produce this product and how much you are able to sell it in the market. So let's assume that all of these studies have been done by the company and that they are contemplating on releasing a new product or selling a new product called product D. Okay, and the profit per unit is estimated at 40 pesos per unit, okay, as shown here on the left side of your screen. All right, and then having tested the product in their production floor, they have observed that each unit of the product or each unit of product D will require 2 hours in department 1, okay, to process, and each unit of product D will require 1 hour in department 2 to process and 1 hour in department 3 to process. So now the dilemma is initially, if you look at your initial model formulation here, you see that department, let me change this not so to avoid confusion. Anyway, this is department 1, 2, and 3. No? You will see that the total number of hours of department 1 is being shared by the production of 3 products, no? A, B, and C. So if you add a new product, it means that you would have a new variable injected into this model that would share in the consumption of department 1's time. Okay, so instead of just having 3 products sharing in department 1's time, you will now have 4 products. And the same goes with department 2 and department 3. Okay, instead of just having 3 products sharing the time of department 2 and 3, you would have to inject uh, another decision variable for product D, which will also share with uh, the usage or the consumption of the department time. Okay, so as you can see, the addition of a new product, product D, creates a new variable, which we will define as x4. Okay, so we will now define a new variable here. Because of product D, we will now define a new variable. Let x4 be the number of units of product D to produce. Okay, so let me check which slide number this is. This is slide number 38. Okay, so let me just indicate here slide number 38. Okay, so let x4 be equal to the number of units of product D to produce. Okay, so now if you introduce a new product, then it means that your model formulation would have somehow, would change somehow, diba? So let me introduce the change. So what will happen is in this model, you would now have to inject x4 into each of the constraints and also into the objective. So the objective is straightforward. You simply add 40 times x4 to your model. Okay, 40 per unit times the number of units of product D to produce, that would give you the profit for product D. Okay, however, for this one, for the constraints, you would have to here. Okay, you'd have to add the coefficients, no, the consumption. So you will see that in department 1, 2 hours per unit is needed. So therefore, you would have to add plus 2x4, okay, into the first constraint. 2 hours for every unit of product D. And then for department 2, you will see on the left side of your screen, there's 1 hour per unit. So you simply add 1 times x4. And for the third constraint, department 3 is also 1 times x4. So as you can see, 1 times x4, 1 times x4. As you can see, you will add one more column to your matrix, no? To the matrix here in the revised simplex method solution. Okay, so that's about the adjustment that we have to make. Okay, if we define a new variable x4. Now, what we want to see now is how this additional variable would affect our optimal solution. Okay, so the procedure is as follows, no? So when you add a new variable, the very first thing that you do, if you have your optimal iteration already, is to assume that this new variable added is non-basic. Okay, so in other words, if you assume that this variable added is non-basic, then only the non-basic vectors and matrices will be affected. Okay, so example, xb will not be affected because we will assume x4 to be non-basic, and therefore x4 would be added here. Okay, so you would have an addition here, which we will call x4. Okay, so madadagdagan to. And therefore, for CB, let me write it properly. And then for CB, which is this vector, there would be no change. Okay, because this is the objective function coefficient of basic variables. So for Cn, you would have to reflect the change. So you would have to add the coefficient of this last variable into Cn. So therefore, you would have to add 40 here. Okay, you'd have to add 40. Okay, for B, again, there's no change. For N, you'd have to add one more column for X4. Okay, and what would be that column? As you can see here, you added a new column which represents the constraint coefficients of X4. So that's 2, 1, and 1. Okay, so therefore, you would now have to add 2, 1, and 1 here as the coefficient of X4. Okay, and obviously, if you add one column to N, okay, your B inverse, which is when you get the inverse of this matrix, this will be your B inverse, no? Okay, when you multiply this B inverse by N, because you added a fourth column, your B inverse N would also have a fourth column. In other words, if you multiply B inverse by N, this would be the same. No? This first three columns would be the same. You only have to add the fourth column. So by multiplying this with this, so you have 2 times 2, 4, minus 1, that's 3. So the first element would be 3. Okay. The second element would be, again, negative 1 times 2, negative 2 plus 1, that's negative 1. So you have 3 and negative 1 for the first two elements. And then negative 3 times 2, negative 6 plus 1 would be negative 4. Okay, so therefore, you would now have to add a fourth column here for X4. Okay, and that fourth column will be seen here. This one, 3, negative 1, and 4. Okay, so again, let me go back. Whenever you have a new product line or a new variable, like in this case, no, X4, you have to reflect the change into the model, into the objective function, and into the constraints. Once you have reformulated the model with the new variable, you have to go to your optimal iteration, revised simplex iteration, and assume that this new variable is non-basic. So therefore, the three vectors that will be affected and matrices that will be affected would be xn, cn, and n. Okay? So in xn, you add the new variable. Okay? In cn, you add the objective function coefficient of this new variable. And in n, you add the constraint coefficients 2, 1, 1 of this new variable. As a consequence, because you added one column here, your B inverse, this is your B, this is your B inverse. When you multiply your B inverse by n, you would also have to add a new column. And that new column is 3, negative 1, and 4. Okay? So let me fix this one so that it won't look as if x4 is not part of your xn. So this is how it would look like. Okay, so now since you have your B inverse n already, we want to see if adding this fourth column in B inverse n would have an effect. Take note, there would be no effect here because this is B inverse B. There would be no effect here because this is CB B inverse B. Okay, there's no Cn, there's no n in these formulas, no? So no effect. What would be affected would be your CB B inverse n minus Cn. So as you can see, originally there are only 3 elements here, but now since you added a fourth column for n and a fourth column for B inverse n, then there would be a fourth element here in CB B inverse n. Okay, and what is that element? That would now correspond to your x4 coefficient in the objective function. So how do you get that? All you have to do is to multiply your CB, okay, CB by B inverse n. Okay, so I want you now, so this is what we're doing. We're multiplying CB, this one, the 30, 35, 0 by this matrix. So that is what you have here on the left side of your screen. This one, 30, 35, 0, and this is your CB. This is your B inverse N. Okay, this matrix here is your B inverse N. All right, so multiply that then minus Cn. Take note that Cn has an added element, 40. So when you subtract Cn, it would be, you would have to add this. Okay, so this one was added to Cn. This one was added in B inverse N. So you want to see the resulting CB inverse N minus Cn. So all you have to do is multiply this vector on the left side by this B inverse N, subtract this one, this is what will come out. That's the result. So therefore, you will see that CB, B inverse N minus Cn, when you solve it, it would have 15 here. Okay, as indicated in this solution. So since this is a maximization problem, you will see that all of the items here are positive, meaning it is still optimal. So what does that tell us? It tells us that when we added x4 into the model and we assume that it is a non-basic variable, so we added all of this, no? And in the process, magkaka-extra column yung B inverse N. So when you multiply CB by B inverse N, no, with that extra fourth column, you will get this one, okay? You will get this one, okay? When you multiply with CB, sorry, you will get this one on the left side of your screen. This is CB times B inverse N. And then when you subtract Cn, you will get finally this one. Okay. So since the solution is telling you that adding x4 would make the solution still optimal, okay, it is still optimal, then it means that adding x4 will have no value to the organization, especially if the profit is 40 per unit. Okay, it only means that this profit of 40 will not make the company produce X4 profitably. Okay, kulang ito, maliit ito masyado for the company to say, okay, wag na tayo mag-produce ng product A and product C, product D na lang. Okay, wag na natin ito i-produce, ipasok na lang natin yung product D. Okay, the optimal solution is telling us na no, it is still profitable to produce product A and C and not produce product D. Okay, so the next question therefore is looking at this step-by-step solution here. Okay, so basically ang kailangan mo lang i-compute is CB inverse N minus Cn, no? And then you will see, I'll label it, this is step 2, okay? And then this is the last step. Sa last step, nakita natin, positive pa rin lahat, no? For maximization, this is still optimal. So therefore, product D, the conclusion is product D should not be produced. Okay, product D is attractive to produce. So itong statement na to, how did we arrive at this one? Okay, so makikita natin, the important thing to look at here is this one. Ito kasi yung profit per unit eh. Okay, profit per unit. So you will see that the product of CB and B inverse N, yung fourth column na dinagdag natin, okay, multiplied by CB would give you this additional element here, which is 55. So ibig sabihin, para makuha itong 15, it was actually 55 minus 40. Okay, 55 minus 40. Ito yung profit per unit eh. So if your profit sana is greater than 55, if your profit per unit of the new product that you're introducing is greater than 55, then if you subtract 55 minus something greater than 55, then this one here, okay, itong 15 na to, magiging negative yan. Di ba? So for example, ginawa natin 60 yung profit per unit. Okay? Ginawa natin 60. So 55 minus ito, pag naging 60, magiging negative 5 ito. Pag negative 5 na ito, ibig sabihin, hindi na optimal tong iteration na to. Meron ka ng entering variable and that entering variable would be negative 5. So maghahanap ka na ngayon ng leading variable. Okay? So yun ang ibig sabihin, no? Kapag hindi profitable, you assume it to be non-basic, hindi profitable, ibig sabihin it remains optimal. Yun pa rin yung optimal solution mo. Pero kapag may naging negative for a maximization problem, may naging negative dito sa mga coefficients na to. Okay? Basically, hindi naman magbabago tong first three eh. Itong 30, 25, and 5. Hindi magbabago yan. Yung fourth column lang talaga yung magbabago, yung change na inintroduce nyo, yung additional variable. So, ito lang magbabago. Pag naging negative yan, ibig sabihin, the present optimal solution has already changed. Okay? And therefore, you have to look for the new optimal solution. So, balikan lang natin quickly. So, ano yung procedure pag nagdagdag tayo ng new variable? Number one, assume that the new variable is non-basic. Of course, i-formulate nyo muna yung model, just like what you see here. Okay? Formulate nyo muna, and then, first step, assume that the new variable is non-basic. So, ito yung ginawa natin. Dinagdag natin yung x4 sa xn, dinagdag natin yung coefficient ng x4 sa cn, dinagdag natin yung constraint coefficient sa n, at ginawa na natin tong hindi naman maapektuhan yung XB tsaka yung Z eh. So no problems, as is pa rin yan. Kinompute na natin ngayon yung B inverse N. Kasi kailangan natin yung B inverse N para sa CB B inverse N minus Cn. So the next step after assuming non-basic yung variable is to add the new coefficient into Cn, N, and Xn, which is ginawa na natin. Number 3, solve for CB B inverse N minus Cn. So ito na yun. Sinolve na natin. Okay, by using the new B inverse N, okay, ito yung new B inverse N, multiplying it to CB and then subtracting the new Cn from it. So by doing that, you will see that a fourth column is added, yung naka-red, lahat ng naka-red, yun yung nadagdag, and it remained positive. So sabi dito, if CB B inverse N minus Cn is greater than or equal to 0 for maximization, ibig sabihin 0 or positive pa rin yung naidagdag nyo, then the new product or activity is not profitable. Ibig sabihin, non-basic siya, hindi mo siya i-produce, kaya hindi siya profitable. Okay? Or hindi siya profitable, kaya hindi mo siya i-produce. Okay? Next, otherwise, kapag nag-negative daw itong X4 na to, itong bagong dinagdag natin, pag nag-negative yan, then proceed with a few more iterations until the solution is optimal. Okay, so now let me show you quickly what if this one is 60 per unit, yung profit. What if? Okay, anong mangyayari? So mangyayari, ganun pa rin. So this is still 211. So pareho pa rin yung formulation natin. So I'm solving another problem na. Okay. Pareho pa rin ito, 2 hours per unit sa Department 1, 1 hour per unit sa Department 2, and 1 hour per unit sa Department 3. Pero ito nagbago. So palitan ko, gawin kong 60. Ang profit daw ng bagong product na i-introduce is 60. So, same procedure. Basta't nagdagdag ka ng bagong variable, same procedure. Add the new variable here and the coefficient here. So, papalitan ko to. Okay, papalitan ko yan. Gagawin kong 60. Okay. Okay, gagawin kong 60. So, yun na yan. Tapos, yung coefficient ko sa constraint, same pa rin, 211, same pa rin ito. Okay, same pa rin yan. So, now, I will solve for CB. So, after reflecting the change in your XN, CN, and N, okay, you will now calculate your CB B inverse N minus CN. So, follow lang the steps, ha? Okay, so calculate natin dito. CB B inverse N minus Cn. So makikita natin, kokopyahin ko lang no, para makita ninyo. CB is 30, 35, 0. Your new B inverse N is this one. Ito yung new B inverse N ninyo. Ito. Okay? So therefore, copyhin nyo lang yan. So B inverse N would be 3, negative 1, negative 4, 2, negative 1, negative 3, negative 1, 1, 1. At ito yung new column na dinagdag ninyo, no? 3, negative 1, 4. Okay? The original 3 columns were supposed to be for x2, s1, and s2, and you added a new column for x4, no? And then subtract nyo yung Cn, and your Cn is 25, 0, 0, and then 60. Okay? So, if you multiply these two, itong CB at saka B inverse N, pag multiply nyo yan, ang lalabas dyan is what you have on the left side of your screen, which is 55, 25, 5, and 55. Okay? So, walang nagbago dito sa tatlo. It's still the same. Ito lang yung nadagdag. Okay? Nadagdag doon sa CBB inverse N. Then yung CN, wala ring nabago sa 2500. Walang nabago dyan. Ang nadagdag lang is yung bagong coefficient ng new product that you're adding. So yan lang yung nadagdag. Okay? So as you can see, kanina, when this profit was 40, 55 minus 40 is 15. So positive pa rin. So optimal pa rin. Pero now, because we change the profit of product D to 60, then you will see that when you get the difference, yung final CBB inverse N mo minus CN will no longer be optimal. Kasi when you get the difference, 55 minus 25 will be 30. 25 minus 0 will be 25. 5 minus 0 will be 5. 55 minus 60 will be negative 5. Okay? So again, this 4 represents x2, s1, s2, and x4. So that's your CB, B inverse N minus CN new. Okay? That's your new. Let me put it here, no? New. Ibig sabihin with the new variable. So obviously, hindi na to optimal. Therefore, not optimal anymore because may entering variable ka eh. It's a maximization problem and you have a negative coefficient in your objective function row. So you have an entering variable and you now say that this one is your entering variable. EV is equal to X4. So sa procedure, ang sinasabi dito is proceed with a few more iterations until the solution is optimal. So we can set it up and you can take care of it, no? So paano tayo magpo-proceed? So obviously, you have to find the ratio. May entering variable ka, dapat may leaving variable ka. So yung ratio mo would still be XB, okay? 600, 200, and 600. Dapat familiar na kayo dito, ha? 600, 200, and 600. And then, your denominator should be the column of B inverse N, the column of the entering variable in B inverse N. Since the entering variable is the fourth column, then you'd have to get the fourth column of B inverse N as your denominator. So that would be 3, negative 1, and 4. Okay, so that would be 3, negative 1, and 4. Get the ratio, this would be 200. This will not be included because it has a negative denominator. And then this would be 150. So choose the minimum ratio. You will see that this one would be your leaving variable. Okay, so that would be leaving variable would be the third variable of your basic. Okay, itong pangatlo. Okay, the last one, which is S3. So leaving variable is S3. So now, Once you have an entering and a leaving variable, you can now set up the next iteration. Wherein XB, as you can see here, itong S3, mapapalitan na ngayon ng X4. Magsuswap na sila. So magiging X1, X3, X4 ang basic mo doon sa next iteration. So X1, X3, and X4. Tapos yung Xn mo, magiging, kanina, 4 yan, no? So magiging X2, S1, S2, then S3. Okay, so ito, mawawala na to, mapupunta to dito. Okay, tapos itong S3 mapupunta naman dito. So X2, tapos S1, S2, S3. Yan. Okay, so the rest, you should know what to do. The next would be CB. Okay, in this order. Ano yung coefficient ng X1, X3, and X4 sa model? X1, 30. X3, 35. No? If you look at the model, and X4 would be 60. Okay, yan yung bagong coefficient. No? Example, pag 60 siya. And then your Cn, ang coefficient ng X2 would be 25 and the rest would be 0. No? S1, S2, S3. Yan, 0. And then your D, ganon din, X1, X3, X4. Okay? So, tingnan natin yung B natin. Here. You will see it here. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And for your X4, itong dinagdag natin, it is 2, 1, 1. And then for your N, that would be X2, S1, S2, S3. Okay? So yung X2 natin, ang coefficient niyan would be here. Here, 2, 1, 1. Okay? So 2, 1, 1. And then this one, tatlong slack variable mo is an identity matrix, no? 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay? So once you have this, okay, once you have this, procedural na, no? Kunin nyo yung B inverse using your calculator. Okay? So once you get your B inverse, you now multiply your B inverse to this matrix N. Okay? Get B inverse N. And then once you get B inverse N, you get CB, B inverse N, then subtract Cn. You see 4 elements here. Okay? Check if all of them are positive. If all of them are positive already, then you have your new optimal solution, and therefore, you have to solve for your XB. XB is equal to the B inverse that you got earlier multiplied by B. And then, if optimal, no? If optimal na, you have to solve for XB. And then, you have to solve for Z, which is CB times XB. So that's your Z new. Okay? And this is your XB new after adding that new product. Okay? Then you have to solve this too kasi that's your optimal solution. If not yet optimal, let's say may negative pa dito, kunyari may isang negative pa, maximization problem. So, if not yet optimal, so I'm just outlining the procedure. You can use this as practice. Nakapag-solve na tayo last meeting ng ganito eh. So, dapat marunong na kayong gumawa nito. So, if not yet optimal, proceed with a few more iterations. Okay, So basically, that's what you do, no? Very easy, very straightforward. Addition of a new variable, simply have to check CBB inverse N minus Cn and see if there would be an entering variable. If there will be no entering variable, then it means that the present solution has not changed. If there's an entering variable, get the ratio and get the leaving variable, iterate, okay, iterate, and then check again if the next iteration would give you all positives already, in which case it is optimal na. If it is optimal, solve for xb new and z new. If not yet optimal, continue, do the same thing. Okay, do this all over again. Find the entering and leaving variable and do this all over again until you get the optimal solution. Okay, again, this subject, any topic in the subject cannot be clearly understood if you don't practice. You cannot eliminate all the questions in your mind unless you practice. So therefore, I'm leaving room for you to practice solving by continuing this, no? By continuing what I have started here in this example. So in this example, pinalitan ko lang yung given sa PowerPoint from 40, okay, from 40, ginawa ko lang 60. Okay? And this is the solution process. Right? So that's it, no, for addition of a new variable. The last topic would be the addition of a new constraint. Okay, so what do we do if we add a new constraint? So going back to this LP model again, kalimutan nyo na to. Okay, forget about this. If we add a new constraint to this model, what happens? Now, why do we have to add a new constraint? So the left side of your screen tells you that this occurs, this scenario occurs when a constraint was overlooked or new considerations have taken place or have arisen. Okay, so sometimes, again, you miss out on some constraints in the formulation, kaya nga nagkakaroon ka ng unbounded solution space. So kailangan mo idagdag, no, pag na-realize mo. Or sometimes naman, there just are new considerations, no, like your machine is getting older and therefore yung number of units na napoproduce mo for every hour doon sa machine mo, lumiliit na, kumukonti na, in which case, yung constraint mo, magkakaroon ka ng changes sa constraint coefficients mo, or pwedeng nagdagdag ka ng machine or nagdagdag ka ng department, okay, magkakaroon ka ng bagong constraint, no? So as you can see in this problem, in this model, these three constraints represent three departments. If I add another department to process the three products or the four products, let's say simultaneous, yung pagdagdag ng isang product at saka isang department, then yung department 4 mo becomes your fourth constraint. Or pwedeng meron kang marketing constraint para sa product 1 and 2. So that marketing constraint becomes your fourth constraint. Okay? So if you add a new constraint, this is what will happen. By the way, no, sa second point naman, so I discussed this. The second point is, sometimes if you have a big LP model with many variables, thousands of constraints, sometimes you're forced to remove or eliminate some of the constraints. Okay, you're forced to eliminate some of the constraints in order to improve the calculation time, or in other words, reduce the calculation time. Kasi the more constraints you have, the more difficult the search for the optimal solution becomes. So in a lot of industrial applications of linear programming and its solution, formulators or developers of the linear programming models would try to remove some constraints for the sake of efficiency in computing. para mapabilis yung pag-compute ng optimal solution. Tapos pag may optimal solution na, pa isa-isa or paunti-unti nilang binabalik yung mga constraints to see the effect on the optimal solution. Okay? Kaya minsan, kapag may solution ka na, nagdadagdag ka ng new constraint kasi in the first place, kasama naman talaga dapat yung mga constraint na yun, tinanggal mo lang para mas mabilis mong ma-solve yung optimal solution. Pag meron ka ng optimal solution, isa-isa mo ngayon ibabalik yung mga constraints na tinanggal mo just to see if they would have an effect on your optimal solution mix. Okay, so that's the second reason why sometimes we would have to go back to the LP model that we have formulated and add new constraints. Okay, so now granted that you have formulated this model already, okay, this model, and then you have realized that you have to add a new constraint. What will you do? Okay, so this is the procedure. Very easy din lang. So first is you check directly your current optimal solution. Your current optimal solution consists of this. Okay? Ito yung optimal solution mo. Ito yung basic variable mix in the optimal solution. So tingnan mo ngayon yung XB. Ano yung value nitong basic variables? Okay? Okay. So sabi natin, may bago kang constraint. Yung constraint mo naman, x1, x2, x3 pa rin eh. Wala ka namang dinadagdag na bagong variable. Okay? It's just the addition of a new constraint. Isa-isa lang. Okay? So now, try to substitute itong optimal solution, optimal values nitong basic variables into the new constraint. If it satisfies the constraint, then it means that your current solution is okay. Optimal pa rin yan kasi nasatisfy niya yung bagong constraint. Okay? So, tingnan natin yung step number 2. If it satisfies the constraint, dito na tayo ha. Okay? If it satisfies the constraint, then the current optimal solution would still be the best feasible solution. However, if the new constraint eliminates the current optimal solution, meaning, ang ibig sabihin ng eliminates the current optimal solution, it means that yung values ng basic variables sa optimal iteration, sinubstitute mo doon sa constraint na bago. Okay, sinubstitute mo. Tapos, nung sinubstitute mo, hindi na satisfy yung constraint. Ibig sabihin, the left side violated the right side. Okay, hindi nag-satisfy. So, yan na yung signal mo that the optimal solution is no longer this 3. Hindi na to. Hindi na rin ito yung values niya. Nagbago na. So, therefore, every time na nagbabago yung optimal solution, you have to look for the new optimal solution. Okay, in this case, pag nagdagdag tayo ng constraint, okay, mangyayari, madadagdagan ng isang value dito. Okay, magkakaroon ka ng fourth variable dito na may value. Okay, so therefore, ang mangyayari is that magiging infeasible ito. Yan yung signal mo. Okay, that would be the sign. Okay, that would be the sign that your current optimal solution is no longer optimal. All right? Hindi madadagdagan ng isa pala kasi tatlo pa rin yung variables mo dito na basic eh. Nadagdagan ka lang ng ano. So isa dito magiging negative. Supposedly isa dito magiging negative. Okay? So magiging infeasible to. So para siyang magiging yung analysis natin doon sa right-hand side ranging. Kapag lumampas ka, if you recall, no, yung first session natin during this break, kapag lumampas ka doon sa range ng right-hand side, yung small b, okay? Then, ang mangyayari, ang indicator na lumampas ka is that magiging infeasible tong XB mo. May isang mag-negative dyan, at least isang mag-negative dyan. Pag may nag-negative, ibig sabihin, kailangan mong i-translate itong revised simplex solution na ito into Tableau format para makita mo na super optimal yung effect. Nagiging super optimal yung effect ng pagdagdag ng constraint na hindi na-satisfy. Okay? So pag naging super optimal, dual simplex lang ang gagamitin natin to get to the new optimal solution. Okay? Kaya sa number 3, sabi dito, in finding the new solution, the new constraint will be added to the final tableau. Then the new slack or artificial variable will be introduced as basic variable. Okay? So, convert. So, ito, the new slack will be introduced as basic variable. Then, convert the coefficients of the basic variables. Perform dual simplex until a new optimal solution is achieved. So, let's try to do this, no? As our last problem before we leave this topic. Okay? So, dito, ang sinasabi, so, copyin lang natin ito. Ulit. Okay, let me... Okay, so let me just remove this. Okay, and then okay, let me just get this also. Okay, so that we don't have to scroll. Okay. And then let me erase. Yung mga dinagdag natin. Okay. All right. So here is our problem. We're adding a fourth constraint. Okay? And sabi dito that we missed out on this constraint, no? 2x1. So dadagdag natin sa model. 2x1, babalik natin to, plus 2x2 plus x3 less than or equal to 1,500. That's the new constraint. Of course, in standard form, you would have to add a slack variable again. But the procedure tells us to check first, okay? To check if this current optimal solution is still the same, okay? Kung yan pa rin ba, ito pa rin ba yung optimal solution, ito pa rin ba yung z-value natin, okay? If this is still the z-value, we have to check if the current constraint 2x1 plus x2 plus, sorry, okay, substitute natin ngayon itong optimal solution or optimal values ng basic variables into this new constraint. Okay, so substituting, you'll have 2 times x1 is 600, x2 is 0, and then x3 is 200. So, saan ko nakuha yung 600 saka 200? Ito yon. X1 is 600, X3 is 200. X2 is 0. Wala siya dyan eh. So, 0 siya. Okay? Then, iti-check nyo if the left side will satisfy the right side. Less than 1.5 ba siya? So, when you compute this, the left side is 1,400. The right side is 1.5. So, the question is it less than 1? Is 1.4 less than 1.5? So since the answer is yes, ibig sabihin, even by adding this new constraint into the model, itong constraint na to, our current solution, current optimal solution, okay, still satisfies it. Okay? Pag sinubstitute, it still satisfies. So therefore, the conclusion is present optimal solution has not changed. Or present optimal solution remains the same. Walang nagbago. That's the conclusion. Simply because satisfied itong constraint na to. New constraint was satisfied. Okay? I hope that's clear, huh? So this would be the first scenario, no? Letter A. And let me check what slide number this is. This is slide number 42. Okay? So we're actually doing slide number 42. Slide number 42. So now we go to letter B. So sa letter B, I use a different color. Let's go to letter B. Okay. Okay. So for letter B, this time, you'll be adding this constraint, 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 1,000. So let me go back to our model and erase this, and then erase this, okay? Erase everything. I will add 2x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 1,000. Okay, 1,000. So, of course, hindi natin alam yung interpretation ng constraint na to. It could be another department, no? It could be department D, okay, or department 4. It could be department 4, okay? Pero it's not important anymore now at this point. So, anyway, I added that constraint. So therefore, I would have to follow the procedure and test the current optimal solution. So x1, as we know, is 600, no, in the present optimal solution, and x2 is 0. Okay? Is it less than, is the left side less than or equal to 1,000? So when you compute, 1,200 is not less than 1,000. So therefore, constraint, new constraint, violated. Okay, new constraint was violated. Okay. Therefore, optimal solution has changed. So ganun lang kasimple. If the new constraint that you added did not, if the present optimal solution did not satisfy the new constraint that you added, then it means that the optimal solution has changed. So every time you know that the optimal solution has changed, you have to solve for the new optimal solution. And to solve for the new optimal solution, all you have to do is to reflect this new constraint into the tableau. Okay, so ang mangyayari is kailangan natin idagdag ito by doing the standard form. So gagawin ko, dadagdag ko ngayon, magkakaroon ako ng plus S4. Bagong variable. Equal to 1,000. And anong gagawin ko dito sa bagong variable na to, itong S4? I will assume that it is basic. Why will I assume it's basic? Kasi we have already concluded that the new optimal solution has changed. Nagbago na siya. So, ibig sabihin, pag nagbago na siya, hindi pwedeng as is ito. Okay, hindi pwedeng as is yan. Kailangan may madadagdag na basic variable. Okay? So, hindi naman pwedeng x1, basic na siya, hindi naman pwedeng x2. So, S4 ang bagong variable na dadagdag. Kaya itong S4, idadagdag mo yan sa XB, idadagdag mo yan dito, yung coefficients niya sa B, at saka sa CB, wala namang change. Sa XB, tsaka sa B lang. Okay? Pero hindi na natin kailangan i-solve from scratch. Ito lang gagawin natin. What we will do for addition of a new constraint, if the new constraint is not satisfied by the present optimal solution, then what we will do is that we will convert this revised simplex iteration into a simplex tableau. And then sa simplex tableau, idadagdag natin itong constraint coefficients na itong fourth constraint, idadagdag din natin itong variable na to doon sa table. Okay? So first, para hindi kayo malito, ito muna, itong optimal solution. You should already know how to convert this into a simplex tableau. So itsura niyan would look like this, no? Andali ibababa ko ulit ito para hindi tayo scroll ng scroll. So I'll just get this. Dali. Nako. Okay, so I'll get this. And I'll put it here again. So what we will do is we will construct or reconstruct the simplex tableau using the revised simplex iteration. Okay, so this much we know, di ba? We have x1, x2, x3, okay? And then we have s1, s2, and s3 in the present solution. Okay, and then I will have this. Okay. So the first row would be Z. Okay, and since I already know the optimal solution, ngayon, I already know the optimal solution, and that would be x1, x3, s3. Yan na rin ang kukopyahin ko dito, no? x1, x3, s3. Okay? So, lilipat ko na ngayon yung elements. Okay? Lilipat ko na ngayon. So, alam ko, okay? So, alam ko na ang basic variables ko, basic, basic, basic. Okay? Ito yung non-basic, non-basic. So, alam ko yung mga basic dapat 0. Okay? 0, 0, 0. And then dapat identity matrix, no? So, identity matrix, x1 muna, 1, 0, 0. Then x3, 0, 1, 0. Then s3, 0, 0, 1. Okay? That much we know. And then sa solution, yung z value, na-compute na rin naman natin. The z value is 25,000 current. So, sulat na natin dito yung z value. Tapos yung solution column, yung x1, x2, s3, ito yung value niya, 600, 200, and 600. So, lagay na natin to dito, 25,000. We have done this in the previous meeting, no? So, nire-review ko lang kayo ulit to refresh your memory. Alam naman natin, pag paulit-ulit tayo, mas naaalala natin. Okay? So, let me extend this a bit. Extend this a bit. Okay. So, now, alam natin that what we put here is CBB inverse N minus Cn, no? In this order, x2, s1, s2. So, ito yon. Okay, ito yon. So, we put here 30, 25, and 5. Okay? And then dito, ilalagay naman natin yung B inverse N, which is this one. In that order, X2, S1, S2 pa rin. Kokopyahin lang natin ito. Okay, so mabilis, no? So once you have the correct revised simplex iteration, mabilis ilipat sa Tableau. Okay? Then 2, negative 1, negative 3. And then negative 1, 1, and 1. So, kompleto na. This is actually your simplex iteration equivalent to your revised simplex iteration. Magkapareho lang ito. Nilipat ko lang sa Tableau. Okay? So, ano gagawin ko ngayon? Since nakita natin dito that the new constraint was not satisfied by the present solution, this is the conclusion. Nagbago na. So, kailangan ko ngayong idagdag itong bagong constraint na to, itong coefficients niya. Okay? Sa constraint, kailangan ko idagdag sa Tableau. Okay? Hindi na kailangan i-set up ulit itong revised simplex, no? Doon na diretso na sa Tableau. Idagdag nyo lang to because you are going to assume S4 as basic. Yun ang pinaka-importante. The new constraint added, yung slack variable or surplus variable niya will be assumed to be basic. Okay? So generally, it's a slack variable. No? You assume that to be basic, and therefore, pag basic yan, clue, that's a clue already. Dadagdag ka ng isang variable dito. So pag nagdagdag ka ng isang variable, dadagdag ka dito. And we assume that this variable is basic. Okay? So pag basic yan, alam natin 0 to. Kasi dapat sa simplex iteration, 0 dapat yung coefficient ng basic variable sa 0. Sa objective function row. So alam ko 0 yan. And alam ko rin na ang basic variables, x1, x3, s3, at s4 should form an identity matrix. So alam ko na agad na dapat ito 1, 0, 0, 0. Itong x3, 0, 1, 0, 0. Itong S3 should be 0, 0, 0. Mali. Wait lang ha. Yeah. Should be 0, 0, 1, 0. Okay? And itong S4 should be, sa constraint mo, should be 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay? So now, yung constraint coefficients dito, kukunin ko ngayon dito. Here. So, ang constraint coefficient ng bagong constraint would be 2, 1, 0. 0 na lahat, tapos 1 ito, then 1,000. So, ilalagay ko ngayon dito. 2. Ang coefficient ng, alam ko na dapat 0 yan. Di ba? Pero, yung fourth constraint ko, hindi siya 0. Kaya buburahin ko to. 2 siya. Okay? 2 siya. Tapos, yung coefficient ng x2, hindi ko na kailangan mag-scroll, no? Ito kasi yung new constraint. Ito yun. Coefficient ng x2 is 1. So, 2 times x1 plus 1 times x2, 0 naman yung x3, walang coefficient eh. And then, s1, s2, s3 are 0. And then s4 is 1. And then the right-hand side is 1,000. So, ang mangyari is ito yung resulting tableau by adding this row. Ito yung new row na dinagdag natin. Pero alam nga natin na because of adding this new constraint into the tableau, itong bagong constraint dinagdag natin, meron tayong na-violate. Na-violate natin ito. Okay? So, let us say pa, for example, kunyari, 2x1 plus x2 plus x3 less than or equal to 1,000. Alam natin that x1 is 600, x2 is 0, x3 is 200. So therefore, alam pa rin natin na yung left side is 1,4, hindi rin siya less than 1,000. So let's say, merong coefficient tong x3. Let's say lang, may coefficient siya. Okay? Then buburahin ko to. Okay? Magiging 1 ito kung may coefficient si x3. Right? So, ang mangyayari, ang na-violate natin would be this one, this column. Kasi dapat, itong column na to, basic variable to, alam natin, x1 coefficient should be 1, 0, 0, 0. So, nababiolate natin ito. Alam din natin na yung x3, which is this one, should be 0, 1, 0, 0. So, ito, violate din. Okay? Yung S3, tama lang, 0, 0, 1, 0. At yung S4, 0, 0, 0, 1. Tama lang yon. So, therefore, ang nababiolate natin is this and this. Kaya yung first step mo, before you even iterate, mag-Gauss Jordan ka muna. Convert mo muna to 0. Okay? So, how do you convert this to 0? Ito, how do you convert this to 0? You would have to look at this row as your reference row or your basis row. Okay? Ito kasi dapat yung 1 eh. So, magmumultiply ka ng -2 dito sa buong row na to. Tapos, i-add mo yung product dito. Para -2 plus 2 will be 0. Okay? I hope that is clear. So, ito, magiging -6 plus 1, magiging -5. So, ita-transform mo ngayon ito. And then, after mo i-transform, so times -2 plus 1 would be still with 1. After ma-transform mo, ito naman. Ita-transform mo to, you have to make this 0. Ang reference row mo naman in making this 0 would be yung this row. Diba? Itong may 1 na to. Ano yung multiply mo dito para kapag ka-inad mo dito, maging 0. Okay? So, once na-transform mo na yung tableau para masatisfy niya yung identity matrix requirement, okay? Then, that's the time you begin to iterate using dual simplex. Okay? So, ibabalik ko na to ha. I will put this back kasi ito naman yun eh. This is our problem eh. Okay? So, kalimutan nyo na to. That was just an example. Ito yung problem natin. So, which means that the coefficient of x3 in the new constraint is 0. Okay? So therefore, ang problem mo lang talaga, ang nababiolate mo lang sa identity matrix is this one. Ito lang. Kasi ito, okay na to eh. 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay na yung tatlong columns na yan. Ito lang yung may violation. So, Gauss Jordan tayo. Multiply natin itong second row by -2. So, -2, -6, 0, -4, +2, 0, 0, and -1,200. Then, add natin itong, so itong row na to, minultiply ko by -2, ito yung lalabas. Then, add ko tong row na to. So, you'll have 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1,000. So the resulting row would therefore be 0, -5, 0, -4, 2, 0, 1, and -200. So, na-convert mo na ngayon itong element na to 0. So, pwede mo na ngayong i-replace. Okay, so tatanggalin ko ha. I will remove this. Tatanggalin ko na to. And I will replace it by the transformed row. Okay, the transformed row is now S4 pa rin, pero 0 na to. -5 ito, 0 to, -4 to, 2 ito, 0, 1, and -200. So kalimutan nyo na to. Okay, forget about this. Wala na yan. Yung last row nyo is this one. So now, if you look at this last row, you now have satisfied the identity matrix requirement. Okay? Yan na, satisfied na siya. Okay? Satisfied na. Okay? So now, after doing that, makikita ninyo, this column, meron kang negative, meaning infeasible siya. Pero, this objective function row, puro positive, maximization problem, which means this is optimal. So therefore, optimal and infeasible here, this combination would now lead you to conclude that therefore, this table, this tableau is super optimal. So if it's super optimal, then all you have to do is use dual simplex to proceed with the iteration. So paano uli gagamitin yung dual simplex? So extend natin to, extend natin to. This would now be your leaving, again, dual simplex tayo. So, leaving variable muna. So, LV. Okay, that's your leaving variable. And then, to get, so, burahin ko na tong, para hindi kayo malito. Itong scratch work. Okay, let's remove this. Okay. So, I won't remove this, no? I won't remove this muna para pag nag-review kayo, nakita nyo na ito yung tinransform natin at nung tinransform natin, ito yung result. Okay, so pero as good as wala na to. Tanggal na yan. So you will see that the leading variable is S4 and then you will get the ratio. The ratio between the non-basic variables, 30, 25, and 5, and its corresponding coefficient. So we'll now get 30 divided by -5, that's -6. Okay, and then 25 divided by here, 25 divided by -4, that's -6.25. Okay, that's -25/4, no? So that's -6.25. And then the last one, 5 divided by 2, you won't get that ratio kasi positive eh. Diba? So, hindi pwede positive or zero denominator. So, you won't get that ratio. So, the choice is between the absolute value of 6 and the absolute value of 6.25. Okay? So, you get the smallest absolute value of the ratios for maximization problems. So, therefore, this one becomes your entering variable. Okay, so that's your EV. So entering variable is X2, leaving variable is S4. You set up the table. Okay. So setting up the table. So tuloy nyo lang, no? X1, X2, X3, S1, S2, S3, S4, and then solution. So you should know how to do this na. Carry this out until maging optimal yung solution natin. Okay, so you have Z, and then your new variables would be X1, X3, S3, X1, X3, S3, and then S4 will be replaced by X2. Okay, that's your entering variable there. And then your pivot element would be this one. So this whole row would have to be divided by -5. Okay? So pag divide mo ng -5 yan, ito yung mangyayari. So 0, 1, 0, 4/5, -2/5, 0, and -1/5. So this one, -200 divided by -5 would be 40. Okay? And then, after that, Gauss Jordan, no? Alam niyo naman dapat yung gawin. So, all the elements above should be made 0. So, dapat itong nasa taas nitong 1 na to, dapat 0 lahat yan. Okay? So, hindi ko napapakita yung iteration kasi nadito naman. Okay? So, nadito naman siya. So, na-explain ko na. So, you will see that a new solution will be found. So, ito yung unang ginawa, no? Sa left side of your screen. Nung dinagdag natin itong S4 na row, okay? Ito yung bagong constraint, no? 2x1 plus x2 plus s4 equal to 1,000. Okay? But, as I've said, this one violated the Tableau requirements. So, this one has to be converted to 0. Kailangan ma-convert to 0. Okay? Using Gauss Jordan. So, next iteration, na-convert na to 0. Makita nyo, 0 na to. So, ito yung makikita nyo sa right side ng screen. 0, -5, 0, -4, 2, 0, 1, and -200. So, ito yon. Okay? This row is the new row. Okay? Yung row na yan. So, after having that, because of this, we now conclude that this Tableau is super optimal. And we have a leaving variable, which is S4. Yan. And we have an entering variable which is in our solution x2. Ito yung entering variable natin. Kaya ito yun, x2. So once you have entering and leaving, the next table will now show you the final iteration. Okay, so as you can see, ito yung 1. All the elements above it are 0. Ito. And this is the new table. No? So, siguro para ma-complete lang sa notes nyo, I will copy. Gauss Jordan lang yan. Practicein nyo to. Okay? Kasi this is more practice, the better. Okay, so if you're wondering, why am I computing so fast? I'm not. I'm just copying from the left side of your screen. Okay. Okay. So here you go. You have finally, after doing Gauss Jordan elimination, you will see that the solution column here, they're all positive. It's feasible. And here, your non-basic variables, S1, S2, and S4, have positive coefficients for a maximization problem. Okay, so these two are non-basic. This is non-basic. The rest are basic variables. Okay, so since positive, therefore, we now say that this is the new optimal solution. Okay, and as you can see, because of adding this constraint, okay, because of adding this constraint here, because of adding this constraint, your solution has changed, and the previous z value, as you could recall, is 25,000. And now, because nagdagdag kayo ng isang constraint that affected the feasible region, 23,800. Remember, the more restrictive your system is, the lesser profit you get, di ba? So, therefore, 23,800 na lang yung z value mo with the following production values, no, for product A, C, and B. Okay, yung product D is still, wala naman tayong product D eh. So for this time, you are going to produce all your products already to maximize your profit with the addition of that new constraint. Okay, so if I ask, what happens, no? If you add a new constraint, if you see that the constraint was not satisfied by the present solution, you then conclude that the optimal solution has changed. And of course, ang kasunod nun, what is the new optimal solution? Then you have to tell me, okay, that the new optimal solution consists of x1, x2, x3, and s3. These are the values here on the right side. Okay, and this is the new z value. Okay. So I think for all of the sensitivity analysis that we have learned and we have performed, iisa lang naman eh. If for the right-hand side and for the objective function coefficient, if the change in the parameter is within the allowable range, then it means that the present basic solution has not changed. But if it exceeds the allowable range, then it means that the present solution has changed, and therefore you have to use either dual simplex or revised simplex to proceed with a few more iterations until you find the new optimal solution. Ganon din sa addition of a new variable. You assume that the new variable is non-basic. If after calculating the CBB inverse n minus Cn, the solution, the current solution remains to be optimal, then walang change, di ba? Pero kapag biglang may entering variable ka na doon sa CBB inverse n minus Cn, then you proceed with a few more revised simplex iterations until you get the new optimal solution. Sa addition of a new constraint naman, which ito yung last na diniscuss natin, basta't na-violate ng present solution yung bagong constraint, then you have to set up the simplex table, revise it a bit here, okay? Revise it a bit here to satisfy the Tableau requirements, okay? And then, once you satisfy the Tableau requirements, ginawa mo ng 0, mag-dual simplex ka na kasi siguradong may isang magne-negative dyan. Mag-dual simplex ka na until you get the optimal solution.